Mr. Luke Evans, good to see you. How's Broadway?
It's good. It's great.
You
I'm enjoying it.
titillating and terrifying Broadway 8 times a week. Frank-N-Furter.
I certainly am, yeah.
I mean, what is it like living with Frank-N-Furter and living alongside Frank-N-Furter?
Probably the most fun I think I've ever had in doing anything as an actor, yeah. I'm very excited. I have butterflies when I'm in the car going to the theatre every night, which is a lovely feeling. I also love the process of looking at myself, Luke in the mirror, and then slowly seeing Luke disappear and Frank appear to the point where I'm completely gone. I look in the mirror and I'm like, okay, well, there's this creature, and I'm loving it. It's really, really fun.
The look is very unique, actually. The first time I saw you come out on stage, I was just like fascinated by the wig and the choices. It's such a great sort of down and dirty version of Frank-N-Furter. What was it like developing that?
I remember the first artist's impressions that David Reynoso, the costume designer, sent to me.
Fantastic costumes.
Incredible. I mean, if you'd seen the original ones, they were even more risky. But I immediately could see somebody, a designer who wanted to really push the boat out and really do something different, but with an homage to who Frank is. You know, the DNA of Frank is there. It's just he may look a little different. And I was ready for it. I mean, I never said no to a single thing. I wanted to try it all and find, you know, a look that worked for them, but also for me, and also practically how I could wear that costume every night and be comfortable to a certain extent, of course. It was about a 3-month design process. I'd stand there in fishnets and we'd try a leotard or then a thong or a jockstrap. Right. This is a character that I never thought I would play, and it's so far removed from everything I've ever done. And part of that was the reason why I wanted to do it. I wanted to prove to myself and to show the world, you know, like as an actor, if I'm brave enough, I can take on something that is so far removed from who I am and what people have seen me in, you know, and that's why it was such a thrill to do, and the most liberating experience of my life.
So is it fair to say this is one of your bravest moments?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, just brave, just putting the 7-inch boots on every night, heel boots, you know, they're not easy, and they
You make it look easy.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of practice.
Okay.
And a lot of limbering up before you see me on stage. Even walking downstairs is a terrifying thing because you're basically on tiptoes, 7 inches taller than you are.
By the way, stairs covered in fog.
Stairs covered in fog, and a cloak that goes down past my feet. You know, you rehearse. That's what rehearsals are for, and practice, and make it look easy and normal, and like that's what Frank wears every day of his life, and sure enough he does, so I have to make it look like it's my normal life too.
Just another day in the life of Frank-N-Furter.
Yeah.
And the costume that you wound up in, it's showing off all of your assets, let's just say that.
Yeah, and weirdly I've now lost 17 pounds.
Oh wow.
Since start of rehearsals in February.
Because you're not hitting the gym?
I am hitting the gym. I just, I'm basically doing 3 Barry's boot camps every night, you know? It's a lot, and it's 8 times a week, so I am burning calories like crazy, and I'm okay with it because, it's sort of being a little slimmer and tighter in this character. It sort of works, but they've had to take out 2 panels in my corset because I've lost so much weight.
Wow.
But it works, and I'm very fit now, very, very fit.
I love the hair too.
The hair's amazing.
The hair is,
The hair was a brave choice because, of course, a lot of Franks have the famous Tim Curry style hair, and I'll be the wig designer, the hair designer, and Sam, the director, and David Reynoso, and myself said, let's depart from that. Let's be brave and let's do something different. Let's turning more into a slightly more of a rock star, grungy style Frank.
Are you having fun with that wild crew of performers?
I love them.
Yeah.
I love them. They're my family. And I think they all were very aware that I was turning up, and I hadn't done theater for a very long time, and I was in movies, and I do wonder what they thought on that first day of rehearsals. But they all welcomed me with open arms, and they've been the most supportive group of people. And I think we're all just so happy to be there. which is such a nice experience to be coming to work every night and hearing people laughing and warming up, and it's a lovely experience. It's a lovely, lovely job.
I was actually reading your memoirs, Boy from the Valley.
Boy from the
Valleys, right? But one thing that I was really fascinated reading the book, you trained at the London
Studio Centre.
Right, London Studio Centre. And for your final, when the graduating students try to get agents,
that's right.
What did you do actually at that performance to introduce yourself to the London theatre world?
I sang Sweet Transvestite.
I noticed that.
And there was a wig in some big box, and we'd found some heels that fitted me, and I think I borrowed my friend's ballet leotard and put some tights on, and just went. I don't know what I was thinking, but I knew that song, it's such an incredible show-stopping entrance, and it comes down mostly to the song. It's just a brilliant, brilliant song, and I thought, well, they're not going to forget me if I do this. So yeah, that was the song I sang at my showcase.
So you were destined to...
I got an agent from it.
Yeah, I know. So, it seemed like it launched your whole career. Frank-N-Furter has been kind of like the puppeteer of your entire thing, maybe.
Yeah.
What was that kid like? I mean, I learned a lot about you from reading your book, but tell me about that
Well,
kid.
I was a very nervous, shy, bullied kid. I never really fitted in. I wasn't very good at sports. I was an only child. My family was very religious. I couldn't really defend myself from the bullies, so I didn't have a very happy school life. Home life was very happy, but you spend a lot of time in school. So I was glad to leave school at 16. I also always wanted to sing, but I never was brought up thinking that I could make a career from it. So I didn't have any singing lessons or anything like that. And then when I was 16, I ran out of the school gates after my final exam. I didn't want to stay and do further education. And I went to Cardiff, which is the capital, 40 minutes on a train from my village, got a job and paid for my first singing lesson when I was 16. And that sort of put me on the journey to awareness of my own ability to sing. But all I could do was hold a tune. I didn't really have ability or knowledge that I could do anything more than that. I just wanted to learn to be able to sing nicely. And I could afford it then because I had a job. And that led to me doing competitions and winning those, and finally finding something I was good at.
Captain Von Trapp was another...
Captain Von Trapp in school, yeah.
Another big moment for you.
Yeah.
Edelweiss. Can you actually compare what it feels like, when you're singing Edelweiss as a teenager and sort of discovering this maybe like power over an audience to like what you're doing now when you're on stage singing I'm Going Home?
It's really funny you ask me this, because 2 nights ago my partner was in my dressing room and he said, do you still get nervous? Are you nervous right now? Because I was in costume, it was before the show.
Right.
And I was like, it's not nerves, it's not the negative connotation of nervousness. It's actually a really exciting feeling. And I said, and I'll tell you something. The same feeling I have, it's around my diaphragm. It's like what they call butterflies, I guess. But it's not overwhelming. It's just this feeling that all my sensory tips of my face and my fingers start to tingle. I said, I remember having this feeling even when I played Captain Von Trapp when I was 14 years old in school. So yeah, it's a feeling I've had since then, and I'm glad I still have it, which means, I was meant to do this.
That's the nice thing about throwing yourself back on stage, right? I mean, I don't think you get that the same way behind cameras.
You don't. Maybe when you're doing a stunt or jumping off a building or meeting a famous person that you're working with for the first time. I remember meeting Ian McKellen and having the same butterflies on set of The Hobbit. But no, with theatre, it's the live aspect. Even before I'm on stage in the Rocky Horror, I'm standing behind a shutter and I can hear the audience screaming. And that in itself is, I mean, I'll never be a rock star, but that's as close to being a rock star as I think I'll ever get. And it's a magical thing, and it happens every single night.
I want to talk a little bit about your other theater credits. You've actually done a lot of credits that I really love, but I know that you sort of joke that when people say that you're this like great star of the West End theater, you don't see it that way because it was actually just a really like cobbled together period of your life.
Yeah.
But you were, sort of hitting the streets of the West End for a good number of years. How do you look back on those years, just sort of in general?
Oh, I mean, they were fun. I mean, theatre life, especially when you're young, is a very fun experience. And I was lucky enough to do some shows on the West End.
Yeah.
which is, you know, our Broadway, our version of Broadway, and, you know, going out and learning my craft on a stage in front of several hundred people every night was a really exciting thing to do. And I love the community feel of it, you know, and being on stage with the people that you'd rehearsed with. And I learned so much about timing and stage presence, hitting your spot, you know, finding your light and doing it consistently day after day after day after day, and adapting to the audience. And every musical, because I started doing musicals before I then did a play,
right,
which changed my career.
Yeah.
It's a very fun thing. But, you know, when people say star, West End star, I'm like, I was never a star. I was an alternate Chris. I was an understudy in Avenue Q. I was a juvenile lead in a musical called La Cava, which nobody remembers. It was a fun experience, but the trajectory hadn't exploded the way I wanted it to. I probably would still be working in theatre musicals if I wanted to, but I had bigger, grander ideas, and whether that was going to be within the industry I wanted to be in, or was it going to be something completely different, that was something I was contemplating when I was around 27, and almost decided to give up the whole business and go back to college and do something else.
Did you have a favorite voice from Avenue Q? You did Nikki? Was that Nikki one of the roles?
Nikki. I did them all. I did Cookie, Trekkie Monster.
Trekkie Monster.
I think Trekkie Monster was probably the most
Did you ever sing The Internet is for Porn on stage?
Yes, many times. Yeah. I did the Good News Bears or the Bad News Bears. The Bad News Bears. They were really fun. I've always been good at voices, so that was. I really enjoyed doing animation and voiceovers and stuff. So yeah.
Trying to give me a taste of any of your Avenue Q voices?
Oh my God. It was Rod, right? Rod and
Rod,
and Nikki.
Yeah, we love Rod.
Like, hey Rod, how are you, Rod?
Hi, Nikki. Can you get out of my face, Nikki? And then the bad idea bears.
Hello, Trekkie Monster. Hello, Trekkie Monster. They're all still there.
you
could just jump back in at any point.
You can do the whole show if you want. I love it. A one-man version. You can do a one-man version of Avenue Q.
I'd rather not.
And another sort of iconic thing is you were in the original cast of Taboo.
I was.
In London when Boy George premiered that at a brand new theater, right, in Leicester Square. And I know that was crazy because all of the people it's about the club scene in the 80s, obviously Boy George's club scene.
The New Romantic.
And a lot of the New Romantics, and they all came.
Oh, yeah.
And what was that like for you? I was thinking about it because you were kind of like an actor pretending like you're part of that scene, but then the real people came. And what was that like?
I mean, of course, you know, they come 20 years after after their moment in,
they have ownership
in the sun.
of the story.
Very much so, and most of them have probably never been to a theatre play or musical in their life. You know, I think the New Romantics, they spent their money going to bars and clubs and DJing and dressing up and costume and makeup, you know, and all of a sudden they're there watching themselves being portrayed on stage by, you know, theatre actors. It was very fun. I remember one night, very early on, front row, just one of the New Romantics just got out a cigarette and lit up and just blew it in my face as I was singing a song, and I was like, there's somebody smoking in the audience, you know. It was fun.
What's it like to be, you know, getting award nominations and to be, I mean, do you feel like a toast of the season?
It's funny because I guess we've opened just before the award season begins, and, you know, America takes awards, they take it. But there's also this amazing buzz, and I guess different parts of the year when you're in a Broadway show, there's other things happening. But it feels like there's so much going on right now.
It just happens fast.
It's extraordinary. We just opened and then we got nominated, and the audiences are electric every night. But I've always said I didn't come here for an award. I didn't come here for that. I came to entertain and do the best I could do on stage and have a wonderful experience. To have a nomination and to be recognized in a small group of actors from a world I haven't been part of for 17 years. I'm not going to lie, I do have a sense of imposter syndrome kicking off inside of me a little bit because I don't do this all the time, but if there's any consolation, like, this is how I began my life, my career life. It was on stage. It's where my heart and my soul really resonates in live theatre. So to come back and to do a show and to be nominated, is just a lovely, lovely thing. It's like the cherry on the cake.
Yeah.
That, you know, people have come to see the show and have recognized my performance and the show and many other things connected to the show. But yeah, it's a crazy time to be on Broadway with all these awards and nominations and cocktail parties and luncheons and yeah, it's a lot.
You've been able to create such a phenomenal career, and you've been able to become something that I know people like us didn't have when we were kids, which is an out actor who does action movies and who can do Frank-N-Furter. I mean, it's incredible, just sort of the range and the scope of your career. Do you just ever find yourself just like taking that in?
Yeah, it doesn't pass me by, that responsibility I have. Not that I went looking to have this career.
Right.
This career sort of happened, but it was very exciting to be able to play these, you know, very strong leading roles, action-heavy, masculine, heroic characters, but also be a open, happy gay man and have both and be accepted by the industry for that, and to have played all these different characters. And then, you know, choosing a role like Frank-N-Furter is such a departure for me from everything I've done. And at this point, you know, role model is a wonderful thing to call anybody if they get called that. It's important to understand the gravitas of what that means. And I think I've never been one to broadcast my life to the world, apart from my autobiography, but I did it within a book. But I realized even without doing anything, just living your life and the choices you make are observed and are seen. And I hope that what my message of just who I am and what I'm doing with my life professionally, privately, just living it the way I want to live it and choosing the roles I want to play, is a message that goes out to, you know, everyone who may feel lost or unseen or scared of being themselves and or having the career that they want but thinking they won't because of who they are. I'm testament that doesn't have to be the case. You can, you know, work and you can live and you can be happy and you can jump from one role to the next and mix it up and you'll be happy if you do that.
So Luke, who is joining us here?
So this is my dog Lala.
Hi Lala.
Who seems to know where she's going.
Do you call her Franken-Wiener? Did I say that?
Franken-Wiener, yeah.
Franken-Wiener.
Yeah.
Frank-N-Furter, Franken-Wiener.
Our costume designer, associate costume designer, Matthew Hampton, has designed her a Frank-N-Furter costume.
Oh, there's a costume.
We're gonna try it on her on the weekend. I think it's gonna be some sort of like corset thing, maybe.
Well, that's the look. That's the look we're doing.
Yeah, because I hope one night she can maybe come on stage as the curtain call with me.
Wow.
Dressed as Franken-Wiener.
Has she ever been on a stage in front of that many people before?
She has,
Oh,
yes.
yeah?
She doesn't even notice them.
So are you enjoying being in New York?
I am. I've been here many, many times. I've shot a couple of movies here in the past. But this time I feel like I've settled, well, we have settled. It feels like home now. People are really chatty here.
Yeah?
People talk on the street.
Do people stop you and talk? And what are they talking to you about?
Well, I mean, I was in the Vogue magazine the other week, and somebody just shouted from across the street, "Great Vogue article, Luke!" And I was like, "Thank you."
So, do you have any solid plans that you want to get done during your little New York Rocky Horror adventure? Got a few months.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult when you work 6 days a week.
Right.
You get one day off, and it's a Monday when Monday's like everybody's work day, so nobody wants to go out. Nobody wants to go for dinner.
You're like, I'm ready. Let's hang out.
Yeah, it's like okay, but I feel like what theater does consume you, even though it's only 2 or 3 hours a night. You know, the physical nature of the show and the demand it has on your body and your voice means you have to really think about it almost all day long, every day. So I am just happy to be enjoying New York and living the New York life, and when the sun comes out, enjoying the parks and walking my dog and just seeing friends. And I don't really have major plans. I may stay a little longer when I finish and maybe go upstate and see some stuff I've never seen before. But I'm just happy just having a New York life.
And starring on Broadway. I mean, that kid in the valleys.
God.
If you saw this moment.
Well, you know, one of my dad's favorite songs is The Drifters. They say the neon lights are bright on Broadway.
The best.
And I'm looking forward to singing that with my dad when he gets here, with my mum next week. And
So mom and dad.
the only concept of Broadway I knew was from that song. So
From the song, yeah. Well, what about mom and dad seeing Frank-N-Furter burst on stage? What's that?
well, you know, it's been 27 years I've been doing this, and there's been many personalities I've brought out in my characters. So this will just be a new one for them. And my parents are good. They're able to detach me from the show and the role from who I am. And yeah, it'll be interesting.
Well, here we are, Studio 54.
Here
The
we are.
hottest nightclub is now the hottest theater on Broadway.
That's so exciting. And it looks so good at night. There's red flashing
Oh, it's
lights.
incredible.
It's beautiful. Simple, but beautiful. And once you step through those doors, the show begins.
Yes.
It's not a show that starts when the curtain goes up. It literally, the energy behind those glass doors is different to where we are right now. I love that. We've taken over the whole place.